How's it going, guys? My name is Fabian and this is Mechanicos. Welcome. Today I will be showing you how to connect a mini display using only a Molex connection and female adapter. Now this can vary from display to display, but for this display it is a 12-volt connection, and we will be powering it with our Molex with 12 volts. Now, if you want to see a video of me doing it with 5-volt connection, let me know in the comments below. Now, let's get started. So first things first, you have to get yourself a Molex connection. And I got mine from an old fan I used to have that is that uses 12 volts to connect it. Now, it's really important that you guys understand what type of display you have. Mine, fortunately, is a 12-volt connection. So, 12-volt connections will be using the second wire, number 2, for ground, and the first one is a 12-volt power supply. Now, first thing we need to do is we go ahead and excuse my primitive tools. Go ahead and cut it open like this and open up the connections. Now, so one of the mistakes I've made in my time is, since I've done this like 3 times before I got it right, is I used a Molex connection like this. Now, as you can see, it is completely braided and singed. The plastic's all melted. I kind of took a 50-50 chance on figuring out which one's ground and which one's power, and I chose wrong, so we can't use this guy anymore. Make sure that your display uses 12 volts. Now, luckily mine already came with a connection, basically a rounded connection, but there might be ones that will use a micro USB or even a bigger version of that. So we don't need this guy, cut that off, and we don't need this guy. So depending on how you want to do the connection, so right here, this is a female connection for a USB, so you can easily connect whatever connection you may need for your display. Just grab your black and red wire, and we just solder that to the system. So, considering I need one of these for a different reason, and I needed the power, I'll be doing that for myself. But for everyone else, just make sure that let me go ahead and open this guy up. Be very careful. Not necessarily the safest route to do this, but works. We work with what we got. Now we open this up. Now in this case, red wire right here and the black wire right here. The yellow, green, and white are mostly for data, but the ones that we need are going to be these black and red wire. And you simply solder that to these connections right here. Again, I can't stress this enough. Make sure you connect your power, the red one, to pin number 1, and most of the time they're pretty good in displaying the number on there. You can see if it focuses. You got 1, we got 2 right there. So we go ahead and strip these wires. Now, if you don't have tools like I do at the moment, a couple things you could do. You could grab your X-Acto knife and then just do a little quick once over, give it a little peek, and then make sure to cover it up. And then you go ahead and take it off that way, or you simply bite really hard. And out comes the wire like that. See, there we go. We work with what we got. Heat up your solder iron. We connect our wires. So luckily enough, I got a little holder to make things a little bit easier. We go ahead and do the exact same thing to our female connection. female USB connection. Now I grabbed this guy off of the Dancing Water speakers, if you're familiar with, and they work. This works just fine. But you can use pretty much any type of female to male adapter if you just want to rip one off and cut it in half. Up to you. Just use whatever supplies you got around your workstation. Now, go ahead and hook this guy up. Now, I may not be doing this the right way, but the way I learned is you get the two bunches of wire and basically intertwine them basically like holding hands, like that. And that will give us a good base to actually sort everything out. Make sure your room is well ventilated and try not to inhale the fumes, of course. The first thing you gotta do is give it a good layer. Don't go too overboard with it, and voila. And you can get a little closer to that. You'll see that you got a very, very solid connection. This is how typically it's supposed to look. That's not going anywhere. And we do the exact same thing to the ground wire. Alright. Make sure it's nice and tight together. Give it a good layer. There might be better methods, but this method has always been, well, good for me. And done. Now, perfectly connected. Now the final thing you need to do, electrical tape. And if you're a little bit more fancier, heat shrink. But since I don't have any available to me, I'll just be using the electrical tape. Now, a way that I've always done it, and it's always been reliable for me, but I've probably, again, always better ways of doing stuff. Basically, make sure you wrap one of the wires first in the electrical tape, and then you can proceed to wrap the black wire. Make sure that the power and ground do not touch, otherwise you'll have my little accident. Give it a good wrap over. Done. And now you got yourself a 12-volt USB connection, and this could be used for pretty much anything, honestly. If you have any LED or RGB wires that are powered through via USB port that you need to turn on and off, or along with your computer, or you can use it for what I'm showing you for my display.